Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your source for Second Amendment news. If you're here because you saw my teaser that I put out on social media, there is a new attack on the Second Amendment, a blatant disregard for both federal and state law. What do I mean? You're going to want to see this. The Chatham County Police Department in Georgia is doing something different. Doing something, very illegal. This police department is asking residents to voluntarily surrender their serial numbers for all of their weapons so that in the event one goes missing, they will have the record, because in their claim, most firearm owners don't have copies or keep track of or log their own firearm serial numbers. Well, I guess on the surface, the crux, if you don't dig down deep and drill into this, sounds like a good idea, right? The police department, I'll give them all of my serial numbers so that if, say, this gun goes missing and I don't know the serial number, I can just call down and say, hey guys, this one was stolen and you have the serial number. Can you just keep an eye out for it? And then they'll check pawn shops and all that stuff, right? Sounds great, except federally illegal. And according to Georgia's own law, which I'll get into in a second, it's very illegal there too. See, this is a nonchalant way of creating a gun registry. A record of every gun that every person has and where they live, so that in the event of, say, gun confiscation, we know exactly where to go and what you have. I'll even read you a quote from the Chatham County Police Department's Captain Daniel Flood, who says, quote, "Unfortunately, we have seen a big increase in the number of guns that have been stolen from unlocked cars. From burglaries and that type of thing." He added, "A third of them don't have serial numbers. The gun owners don't have records of serial numbers." So instead of telling those individual people, hey, you should lock your stuff up, let's try to get a copy of everyone's serial number and create a de facto registry. So Captain Flood is asking all of the residents to provide their serial numbers via a database so that they'll have all those records. You know, in the event that they're stolen, and then they could find them if they turn up into pawn shops or stuff like that. Now there's a website that they're looking to use for this process, and it's called Report It, with no space, Report It. And it also is going to use leads online. So they're going to submit your information, not just keep it there in the department, but put it on this website. Because we know how safe online records are, right? I mean, look at all of the big companies who would never ever have any type of hacks where any of their information would go missing. I mean, I worked for the United States government, and even they couldn't keep my personal information secure. Somebody in China broke in, and I was one of those millions of people in the service that lost all of their information to somebody else, and we're just waiting to see if we're going to have credit cards in Beijing or something like that. So yeah, let's trust the government. So I said to myself, isn't that illegal? Yeah, it is. But first I said, well, maybe in Georgia, maybe they can do it, because there are some states that do require people to register firearms, where there's certain transactions, certain styles, etc. But first I said, well, let me find out what is the exact definition of registry, because maybe it's different here where I live than it is in Georgia. Well, nope, it's the same. According to the dictionary, a registry is a place or office where registers or records are kept. If they want to keep these records, that's a registry. Then I said to myself, I read a lot of laws. Sometimes it gets mixed up and jumbled in here because I do it so much. I thought that the NICS law, the creation of the NICS, said something about a registry. So I went back and, yeah, I was right. 28 CFR 25.9, I'll have it in the description because apparently people in Georgia forgot about this. And it says, and I'll quote, if you go down in the first section, subparagraph 3, it says, and I quote, Captain, "Limitations on use. The NICS, including the NICS audit log, may not be used by any department, agency, officer, or employee of the United States to establish any system for which the registration of firearms, firearms owners, or firearms transactions or dispositions, except with respect to persons prohibited from receiving a firearm by 18 U.S.C. 922G or in, or by state law." What that means in layman's terms is you can't take all these transactions, the serial numbers, the names of the people, their license, etc., and put it into a database or a registry. It's federally illegal. But then there are the people who are going to watch this and say, aha, the powers of the states. The states have all the power if it's not regulated under the Constitution. Well, according to Georgia's own code, Title 16, Chapter 11, Section 16-11-129, entitled Weapons Carry License, Temporary Renewal Permit, Mandamus, Verification of License. Go right down to the first paragraph. Paragraph A, towards the bottom, says this. Form shall be designed to elicit information from the applicant pertinent to his or her eligibility under the code section, including citizenship, but shall not require data which is non-pertinent or irrelevant, such as serial numbers or the identification capable of being used as a de facto registration of firearms owned by the applicant. So there it is, illegal under Georgia's law too. But you know what? We're the law. We don't have to follow it. We just do what we want. Citizens of Georgia, please pass this along if you know anybody who lives in this county, because what this police department is asking the residents to do is illegal, both state and federal. Georgia is in fact one of the 8 states that prohibit a registry of firearms. So I don't know where this police department thinks they can get away with it. Probably because no one's paying attention, which is why I ask you to pass this information along and subscribe to this channel, because you're going to find this information here as fast as it comes out right here on Guns and Gadgets. Please help me in spreading this information, and until we see each other again, this is Jared from Guns and Gadgets. Be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a weapon. Take care, everybody.